Alright, welcome back to Deep Set Analysis for Prerelease. This time I will talk about Magic the Gathering The Hobbit, which is one of the collaboration set of the universe beyond. Here is the breakdown for the pre-release analysis. I will start from the overview and set analysis and explain the key mechanics in the draft archetype with more details. And following session is talk about the minor tips about splashing, fixing, and mana flat mitigations. So what is The Hobbit? The Hobbit is one of the most famous novel in the world. Magic the Gathering now collaborated with The Hobbit as the Universe Beyond set. This set is optimized for picture draft, and also this set is pretty compact. As always, if you join the pre-release, you will get 6 play boosters and also the 1 promo card. Good or bad, play boosters don't include any special guests and bonus seeds this time, so you don't have to worry about any unexpected card played by the opponents. Now let's move on to the set analysis. Usually I collect the statistic information as much as possible, but this time the data wasn't accurate. This time I only check the specific keywords, especially for flying, reach, and flash. Flying and reach is pretty important to understand if we can build the decks like flyer beatdowns. And flash is also important because if there are many flash cards, opponent can cast the creatures in my turn, so I want to know if there are many cards or not. When we see the flying cards, majority is coming from white and blue, but the number is not so many, so I don't think flyer beatdown is a good option for this set. Because the number of the flyers are not so many, the value of the reach is also less. As always, red and green has a lot of the reach creatures, and white-blue multicolor creatures has also reach. We also don't have many flash cards as well, and also many flashable cards are coming from rare, so we don't have to take care of the flash card too much. Probably this bear and the colorless dogs are the most common flashable cards, so I think that we should care about the 3 manas to take care of these cards. Let's take a look at the mana cost as well. In this set, 2 and 3 manas dominate the majority of the manas. Especially 2 mana drop cards are forming the set. This is pretty important. Basically, mana value decides the game speed, so I expect the game speed is moderately fast compared with other sets. Let's check the power and toughness as well. So when we take a look at the left side of the overall mana curve, population of the power 1 to 3 and the toughness 1 to 3 is a majority, and I explained the game speed is relatively fast compared with other sets. So when we take a look at the mana value 3 or less, most of the cards power 1 to 3 or toughness 1 to 3. Based on these statistics, damage based and stats reduction based removal with dealing 3 or more damage will be very precious cards. Luckily, when we take a look at the damage and stat reduction based removals, they are mostly reliable because they are more than 3 damage or more than -3 reductions. On the other hand, creature with 5 or more toughness is a little bit difficult to handle with these damage based and stat reduction based removals. And those cards come from 4 mana in green and 5 mana in other colors. Let me wrap up the set analysis. We expect the game speed of this format is relatively fast because 2 mana drops are dominating the overall populations. Flyer beatdown is not a good option because we don't have so many flyers. We don't have so many flash cards. Remember, there are 2-3 mana cards for green bear and a colorless dog. Lastly, most creatures' power and toughness are concentrated in the 1 to 3 range, especially at the mana value 3 or less. Because of these statistics, for damage and the negative 4 effects, or stronger should be very reliable. Creatures with tolerance, let's say 5 or more toughness, come from 4 mana in green and 5 mana in other colors. Moving on to the key mechanics. There are a bunch of new mechanics and the old mechanics mixed in this format. Let me explain one by one. The first mechanics is Storied. Storied creatures have the bonus when we achieve the requirements. To achieve the Storied, we need to control the permanent with Storied and 3 or more artifacts, legendaries, and or sagas. When we achieve this requirement, players get the enduring story status for the rest of the game, and now we get the powerful bonuses. Storied cards all come from white and red. Next, mechanics is Recruit. When we recruit, we draw a card and then discard a card. If the discarded card is non-land, we can create a 1/1 human soldier token. This sounds like similar to Connive, but creating the 1/1 human soldier token is more easier than getting the +1/+1 counter of Connive because we don't need the target creatures. White and blue uses Recruit pretty much. Next mechanics is Amass. Amass creates army token. In this set, we have Amass Goblin N-like form. This means putting the N +1/+1 counters on the army. If you don't have any army, first create a 0/0 Black Goblin army token. A lot of black and red cards have Amass. Next mechanics is Ferocious. Ferocious gives bonuses when we have the creatures with power 4 or more. Here is the list of the Ferocious cards. They belong to the black and green wolves. Landfall is also the key mechanics in this set. Landfall is pretty common mechanics for most of people, I guess. It triggers when we place the land card in the battlefield. Landfall cards come from blue and green. In this set, adventures chime in as well. There are cards that has adventure written in the left side and the permanent card right side. We can cast the adventure first. If we cast the adventure, exile that card. After that, we can cast the permanent right side. For example, with this blue card, we can cast the sorcery first, and then we can cast the permanent written in the right side. Reverse order is not possible, so if we cast the permanent first, we cannot cast the sorcery card. All cards has adventure cards. Lastly, there are home counters. There are not so many cards, but we have to touch with this one because it's a little bit tricky. Every home counter on the equipment gives the +1/+0 for each counters. We have 2 rare cards with home counters in this set. That's all about the key mechanics in this set. Next topic is draft and sealed archetypes. In this set, Wizards provide official directions as the archetypes. Those archetypes are based on the tribes: humans, goblins, wolves, dwarves, and elves. Potentially, there are hidden archetypes like Dimir, but official documents only provide these color combinations. After taking a look at the cards, I organized the game speed and mana requirements by archetype like this. The left archetypes like Wolves and Dwarves are aggro type archetypes, and the right side archetypes are like ramp and control, and then I put the human and elves in those archetypes. Goblin can be the aggro or maybe control because there are so many removals from the black and red colors, so it's very flexible. Now let's dive into each archetype. I will have a look at the aggro archetype first, and mid-range, ramp, control will be later. The first archetype is Dwarves. Dwarves use Storied as a main key mechanics. So we need to collect the legendary creatures, artifact, and also saga to get the bonuses from the storied. So we need to collect the story synergy creatures and also the story enablers. Sometimes there are creatures that create the artifact, especially Dory, bearer of the friends, create the artifact. Also, it is the legendary creature, so this card can achieve the 2 of 3 requirements at the same time. This is one of the example deck of the Dwarves. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 manas are heavy, and we don't need so many creatures more than 3 manas. The signpost card of the Dwarf is this multi-color card, and which provides the ward for each creature when we achieve the storied. So this is very strong creatures. To achieve the storied, we need to collect the artifact, legendary creatures, and the saga. I think it's easy to get the artifact and the legendary creature for dwarves, so we can naturally achieve the storied. This creature provides the artifact when ETB, and this creature is legendary creatures. This creature also itself is the legendary creatures, and 1 mana has legendary creatures, and also there are a creature which provide the artifact, and also it is the legendary creatures. So I guess if we can cast the creatures smoothly, turn 3 will be the moment we can achieve the storied. Also, there are equipments for dwarves like mattocks and the spears, which is pretty good for the dwarves. Dwarf is pretty good for handling the equipments. This dwarven mauler can attach the equipments with small cost. So let's say if we attach the mattock, it's gonna be the 4/3 with 0 cost, and also with 1 mana, it can be the 4/1, which is pretty strong as a 1 mana creature. The keyword for the dwarf is storied, collecting the artifact, legendary creatures, and the equipments. And sometimes there are creatures which is difficult to handle with the combat. In that case, these instant, the removal spell is pretty important, like Icon Strike, Stone by Sunlight, and Celebrate the Mountain King. Red and white has a lot of removal spells, so that are the dwarves attack from the beginning of the game. When I pick up the 4 cards from the dwarf deck, I think these 4 cards are key cards for this deck. 2 mana multi-color card gives us a very strong ward effect when storied. And for achieving the story, Dory, Bearer of Friends, Dory, Bearer of the Friends gives us the legendary creatures and also the artwork token. The sword card gives the dwarves to attacking with the first strike, so it allows the dwarves to continuously attack without dying them. Dwarven Mattock is also a strong card because when casting the Mattock, we can attach the card to the dwarves. The dwarf will get the +2/+2 with ward. When creatures reach the toughness 4 or 5, it is really hard to destroy. I also picked up the bomb cards for dwarves. Looks like there are many cards good for the dwarves. Next archetype is wolves. Key mechanics of the wolves is Ferocious. So there are bonuses when we have 4 or more power creatures. To achieve the Ferocious, there are good creatures like Desolation Prowler, Duskwatch Hunter. And compared with other types, wolves don't have so many legendary creatures, so we can cast the same creatures in the battlefield, which is also good. This is the example decks from the wolves. Look at this mana card, this is pretty beautiful. We have good creatures in the one mana like Rabbit, not all Pursuer. And maybe you can notice that it's really tough to block the wolf creatures because like let's say Desolation Prowler have the ability to get the +2/+2 when we pay 2 Reich. it's almost impossible to get to block the creatures with the 1 mana and a 2 mana and maybe 3 mana, because that's gonna be 4/4 creatures. So even they block attack, we have to take a damage every turn. Likewise, there is the another wolf Death Touch with the 2 power. What matters was there's a synergy between these creatures. This creature can get the gain 2 life, even we can pay 2 life. If we can put these wolves in the 2 mana, like 3 or 4 cards, I don't think any other decks can overcome this life race. If we pay the 2 life, these 1 mana creatures gonna be grow, and also, you know, these wolves will be the 3/3 with manners. It's also harder to block. So the 1 mana and the 2 mana creatures level is pretty good for the wolves. Also, there are Ferocious Enabler. In addition, this wolf, the 3 mana wolf also put the +1/+1 counter on target creature. So this creature gonna be the 4/2, which achieve the Ferocious easily. I'm not sure this elf is good for this deck, but I think this is interesting because when we attack this elf with this wolf and rabbit, that's gonna be like 5/6 rabbit, or maybe 7/7 menace wolves, which is, I don't think there are creatures who can block easily. So I put this elf in this archetype as well. The non-creature spell quality is pretty good as well. There is an instant spell for damaging from the 1 creature to another creatures. And the black has the destroy cards, which is super nice. And if we pay a lot of the life with these creatures, there is the instant spell which allows us to get the life link with the +2/+2. So we can gain the life, and also we can hit hard as the opponent life with this card as well. If we can pay more life, we can replace the life to the card with this card as well. Here is the key card for wolves. This Desolation Prowler is the best card for the wolves, because we can actually hit the opponent life heavily. We can achieve the Ferocious whenever we want. This Prowler is the most important system creature of the wolf deck. The instant Reverent Howl is also the good instance, because we can replace the life to the draw cards, and also if we pay a lot of life with the Prowlers, we can use this instant to hit hard with the opponent life with life link. Duskwatcher Hunter is also a good card for this archetype, because it's provide a +1/+ counter on another creature, not another creature, the creature you can choose. And this creature itself can be the Ferocious Enabler with the 4/2 stat. I think the equipment is also interesting to consider for this archetype, because this equipment sacrificed 1 creatures, and also with very small cost, I mean the equipment cost is 2, we can achieve the Ferocious very easily without Duskwatcher Hunter, just attaching the equipment to the 2 mana creatures. Because of this equipment, the 1 mana and the 2 mana creatures will be very shiny. Here is the list of the bomb cards for Wolves deck I picked up. I don't think you have to remember everything, but it's easy to understand that these Wolves rare cards are pretty strong in this archetype. So if you find the Wolves rare cards, don't hesitate to put your cards in your deck. Move on to the Goblin archetypes. Goblins utilize Amass as a key mechanics. In this set, Amass works for 2 patterns. The first pattern is make the single creature bigger. So we can accumulate the +1/+1 counter when Amass. Every time we trigger Amass, the army creature will be bigger. The second pattern is we can use the weak army creature as a sacrifice target. There are several cards with the sacrifice synergy like Bog and Stir Up Trouble. If we have a sacrifice target creature in the battlefield, we can effectively use these cards. This is the example deck of the Goblin archetype. Because black and red has a lot of the removal spells, we can easily remove the bomb creature from the opponent battlefield. In the 2-mana drops, there is the bothersome Noisemaker. This creature can trigger the Amass when we cast non-creature spell. So there is a synergy between the non-creature spell and this Goblin creature. Also, Snowslope's Hunter is a good card for mana flooding. We can sacrifice the Amass creature and then we can use the impulsive draw. Because Artifact can be the sacrifice target in the Goblin, Dory is also a good creature for this Goblin archetype in addition to the Dwarf archetype. Likewise, Rugged Short Spear is a good card, I think, for Goblin archetypes. First, when we cast this card, we can draw the cards. After that, we can equip the card to the creatures, or we can sacrifice this artifact. Dreaded Bad Cloud is the very good creature with the 4/2 Flying Death Touch, which sounds like unstoppable. And if we sacrifice the creature, we can cast this creature with 2 mana. In 5 and 6 mana drops, there are signpost cards like Vogue, and also the very synergetic card like Mountain Raider and ugly looking Goblin. So compared with the Dwarf and Wolves, maybe we can put the 3 or 4 cards in the 5 and 6 drops. This is the rest of the key card for Goblins. Snowslope Hunter has the synergy between the Amass token and the sacrifice, because we can sacrifice the Amass token to trigger the impulsive draw. Bothersome Noisemaker is also a good card for Goblin deck because red and black non-creature spells are pretty strong. I think we can put the many non-creature spells in this Goblin deck. Rugged Short Spear can use the draw spells and also the sacrifice target. So this is good synergy with the Goblins. The Fearsome Goblin Pair is one of the signpost cards. We can use this card for the sacrifice, and also the Amass token with this card is pretty big because it's Amass Goblin 4. Here is the rest of the bomb cards I picked up for Goblins. Black-red hybrid or multicolor cards are strong in the Goblin archetype. Next archetype is Humans. Humans utilize the Recruit heavily to draw and discard, then create a one human token. In human archetypes, there are cards that trigger the bonuses when we draw the card. So naturally, when Recruit, the bonuses appear. So based on the official document, firstly, I thought the human archetype is kinda Recruit and go wide strategy archetype. But when I put the cards in like this, the 1 mana and a 2 mana creature is very weak compared with other archetypes. I don't think we can beat Dwarf, Goblins, and Wolves in the right racing situation with human deck. So I changed my mind. I think the go wide is just a non-option and it's not the mainstream for this deck. Because the low mana creatures in the Goblin, Wolves, Dwarves are strong. I don't think we can beat them in the aggro situation, and maybe mid-range situation is also difficult. So put the game speed relatively slow is better for those archetypes. From the discussion we did, let's name the new archetype like Human Recruit Control. With this archetype, we heavily use the draw cards and pump the army. Creating the 1/1 token with Recruit is just a side effect and we don't have to care about too much about that. Instead, we focus on drawing and pumping the creatures. Here's the example deck of the Humans Recruit Control. As you can see, I removed the 1 mana creature completely. Instead, I increased the number of the Rakeshore Apothecaries and add this Vigilance creature as well. This creature can grow when we draw the second card each turn. To survive the severe attacks from the aggro archetypes, we have to rely on these creatures. To make this creature bigger, we need to draw the cards as much as possible. So Recruit is useful for this purpose. And also this multi-color creatures can pump up the another creatures when drawing. So this is also additional pump up effect. This creature also draw the card and discard the card when attack. So this is good option. 2 mana drop has a lot of the draw spells, like these threshold spells. Also, this artifact can be used for draw and discard a card. The quality of the removal spells from the white is pretty good. So, like Stone by Sunlight, Celebrate the Mountain King, and also the Magnificent End can be the choice here. We can also apply the counter spells for late games. The point is we need to survive in the early game. If we survive the early game, we can make the differences using the advantages card like these 2 mana and also the Gandalf. Here is the key card for the humans. Again, the most important creature for this archetype is this creature. We have to grow the creatures with the recruit and the drawing. These creatures allow us to draw the card every turn when we attack. That is nice. And also multi-color card allows us to pump up another creature while drawing. It let us make the creature more bigger smoothly. The last artifact source map is the Land Fetcher. But the ultimate purpose of this artifact is drawing the cards by paying the mana. Here is the list of the bomb card for the humans. I think compared with other archetypes, there are not so many bomb cards for the human archetypes. So this makes the humans a little bit weaker than other archetypes. Last archetype is Elves. Elves heavily utilizes the Landfall and ramping up the manas. Alright, this is the example of the elf deck. For the 2 mana drop, I don't choose so many elves creatures because they are not so strong. Instead, I choose this pony. When we sacrifice the pony, we can get the 2 base land. One is tapped in the battlefield, another one is in the hand. So this allows us to accelerate the run as much as possible. And also this dispatch creature is so important because power and toughness for this archetype is not so good. So when the aggro archetypes attacks heavily in the early game, we can survive. So using this dispatch creatures and the damage spell, we have to remove the threats from the opponent battlefield. Swarm up is also important in this archetype too. This fetch the land, and also we can draw the card and then discard a card. The most important creature in the 3-drop is this Pathmaker, because 2 mana creatures are not good in the Elves deck. But if we have many runs, this Pathmaker will be getting bigger and bigger. And also this is not a legendary creature, so if we can put this Pathmaker, I think that we should put as many as possible. And 4 mana creatures allows us to get the more runs smoothly. 4 mana is a very synergetic card. And after that, I chose the green and blue cards only, but generally speaking, I think that this archetype should put the bomb creature as many as possible, even it's not the blue and the green. We can choose, we can get the white bomb rare, black bomb rare, and even multicolor rare can be reachable. And because white, red, black removal spells are strong in this set, we can borrow the power by splashing the card. I think this is how we build the Elves deck. Here is the key card for the Elves. Left 2 creatures sustain the early game. One get the runs, the other block the creatures with dispatch. Pathmaker is also important as of 3 mana. because if we get the many runs using the ponies, Pathmaker will be getting bigger easily. Multi-color creatures also get the run cards smoothly, so this is very important card as well. Bomb cards for elves are like this. Of course, there are green and blue bomb cards as well, but we can reach the another colors like multi, like these cards, thanks to the random fetching. We need to aggressively brush the cards if we find the good cards. This is the end of the archetype section. In the following conversation, I will touch how we splash the card, fixing the cards, and mitigating the mana flooding. Because this set has a lot of the mana fixing, and especially for sealed, splashing the cards are pretty important compared with the draft. The way to splash the additional color is categorized into 3: land search, any color mana sources, and also the multi-color support runs. Land searches are like this. Colorless is very useful for random fetching in this set. Also, there are random fetcher land. Any color mana sources are basically coming from the treasure. There is the giant boulders can create the 1 mana of any color by paying the 1 mana. We have 5 multi-color support runs in this set. These are the common, so we can easily splash the card using this runs. Moving on to the mana flood mitigation. These 4 cards are strong, and I think the colorless artifacts is easy to use from any type of deck. Mana sink is, as you know, we have adventures, equipments, and run has the sacrifice effect, so they are also useful for mana sink. Okay, this is the end of the entire set analysis. Lastly, I will wrap up with the conclusion. This set is optimized for the pick to draft, and the set is pretty compact. The Wizards officially announced that there are 5 tribe-based draft archetypes, and game speed could be moderately fast based on the mana values. Flyer beatdown is not a good option because we don't have so many flyers in this set. Multi-color support is easy. Mana flood mitigation is also easy. This is my focus for the draft tier in this set. I expect tier 1 is Wolves and Dwarves. I think blue card is for the professional. I don't think it's good for the beginners. So as a result, the win rate of the blue is not so good compared with the very straightforward archetypes. Alright, that's all. Thank you for watching and enjoy your pre-release.